Ukraine conflict, Merkel takes peace plan to Obama. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is due to meet U.S. President Barack Obama in Washington on Monday for talks on the ongoing fighting in eastern Ukraine. Mrs Merkel is expected to brief Mr. Obama on peace proposals France and Germany have been trying to negotiate with the leaders of Ukraine and Russia. The U.S. is considering sending weapons to the government in Kiev, but Mrs Merkel is opposed to the move. Russian-backed rebels are fighting government troops in eastern Ukraine. Officials in Berlin are trying to arrange a four-way summit on Wednesday. Mrs told a security conference at the weekend that she could not imagine any situation in which improved equipment for the Ukrainian army leads to President Putin being so impressed that he believes he will lose militarily. There is pressure in Washington on President Obama to adopt a tougher stance, the BBC's Rajani Vaidyanathan reports from the U.S. Capitol. Some officials, as well as senior Republicans such as Senator John McCain, argue that some form of military support is necessary, our correspondent adds. German Chancellor Angela Merkel arrives in Washington, February 8. German Chancellor Angela Merkel arrived in Washington on Sunday. The Ukrainian government is locked in a conflict with Russian-backed rebels which has claimed more than 5,300 lives and driven 1.5 million people from their homes. Mrs Merkel and French President François Hollande have been leading efforts to revive the Minsk peace plan which collapsed amid fighting over the winter. The detailed proposals have not been released, but the plan is thought to include a demilitarized zone of 50 to 70 kilometers, 31 to 44 miles, around the current front line. Ukraine's war, the human cost. The ruined airport at Donetsk, February 7. 5,358 people killed and 12,235 wounded in eastern Ukraine. Fatalities include 298 people on board flight MH17 shot down on July 17. 224 civilians killed in 3-week period leading up to February 1. 5.2 million people estimated to be living in conflict areas. 921,640 internally displaced people within Ukraine, including 136,216 children. 600,000 fled to neighboring countries, of whom more than 400,000 have gone to Russia. Source: figures from UN High Commissioner for Human Rights February 3, and UN report, January 21. Why has violence flared in eastern Ukraine? Ukrainian servicemen rest on a tank in Artyomovsk of Donetsk area, Ukraine, February 8, 2015. Ukrainian troops rest on a tank. People clean a street near a destroyed car after shelling in the Leninsky district of the eastern Ukrainian city of Donetsk on February 8, 2015. The aftermath of shelling in the city of Donetsk. People walk with their belongings on February 7, 2015 in the eastern Ukrainian town of Vygligirsk in the Donetsk region. Many civilians have fled the Donetsk fighting. Pro-Russian rebels walk on February 7, 2015 in the eastern Ukrainian town of Volhyhirsk in the Donetsk region. Pro-Russian rebels in the East Ukrainian town of Volhyhirsk. Germany's peace efforts were sharply criticized by senior U.S. Republicans who attended an international security conference in Munich over the weekend. Senator Lindsey Graham, who attended with Senator John McCain, said, "At the end of the day, to our European friends, this is not working. You can go to Moscow until you turn blue in the face. Stand up to what is clearly a lie and a danger." Mr. McCain said, "The Ukrainians are being slaughtered and we're sending them blankets and meals. Blankets don't do well against Russian tanks. Jump media player help out of media player. Press enter to return or tap to continue." Former Swedish Foreign Minister Carl Bildt, "There is a risk of military escalation." However, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry denied any rift with EU leaders, saying, "I keep hearing people trying to create one. We are united, we are working closely together." U.S. National Security Council spokesman Mark Stroh said Mr. Obama was looking forward to his discussions with Chancellor Merkel on Monday, particularly on Ukraine and particularly in light of her recent trips with President Hollande to Ukraine and Russia. The President values the Chancellor's judgment, and appreciates her strong efforts in marshalling European support and maintaining transatlantic unity throughout the Ukraine crisis, the spokesman said in a statement to the BBC. She has been tireless in her pursuit of a diplomatic solution to the crisis, and the President anticipates a useful and informative discussion about this and other issues.